In the wake of the announcement of UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's resignation, leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage, called for a general election. Farage likened the current state of the United Kingdom to a banana republic, highlighting that Britain will now have its sixth Prime Minister in just 7 years. Rupert Lowe, leader of Restore Britain, called Starmer's resignation, quote, a good thing in a post on X. He cited Starmer's destructive role in the current state of the UK, referencing his decision to block a national inquiry into the mass rape of young British girls.
Unbelievably, we're about to have our sixth Prime Minister in 7 years. I remember growing up thinking Italy was totally ungovernable as they went through a new Prime Minister every year, and yet that's where we are here. Why is it all happening, and why did we get that big number of votes in the north of England? Well, 10 years ago, on the 23rd of June 2016, we voted Brexit. Much of our political establishment has never accepted the result. And even those that reluctantly did, namely the Conservative Party, refused to implement what voters demanded, namely lower levels of immigration and more freedom for our sole traders and small businesses. They were just two of the benefits we could have taken having got back self-governance. Under Starmer, the Labour Party has moved much closer back to the European Union, and if Mr Burnham wins, they'll go closer still. But the bigger point today is that of a mandate, is that of legitimacy. I've no idea whether there'll be a contest or a coronation, but what I do know is the British public have simply had enough of political parties chopping and changing their leaders at will. We vote for somebody in a general election to be our Prime Minister. We expect them to serve their term. What is going on here, frankly, is reminiscent of a banana republic that has totally devalued the very process of general elections and democracy. I demand, we at Reform demand, a general election.
Andy Burnham, the likely candidate to succeed Starmer, was elected as the new Member of Parliament for Makerfield in a by-election held last week. The vote was triggered by the resignation of previous Labour MP Josh Simons to create a path for Burnham. Many critics, however, see him as another Starmer, just dressed in a different suit, claiming that Burnham will just continue a cautious establishment Labour approach that prioritises avoiding difficult cultural issues over decisive action on voter priorities, such as immigration, crime, and public safety.
We recently had the Makerfield by-election. Of course, Burnham won, and we knew that that man was aiming to be Prime Minister. Things are only going to get worse. Burnham is equally as bad as Starmer. One could argue maybe he's got a little bit more charisma, but I wouldn't really say that. Andy Burnham is just going to carry on the same Labour Party lineage, attacking the native Brits, having no regard for mass migration and how we're being demographically replaced, reinforcing digital ID, bringing forward no justice for what has happened to our country and to our people. This is just an extension of a fight that we've been having even since the Tories were in power during the COVID times, where our governments are here for one specific aim, and that is to take away our freedom, attack the native population, open up our borders, and listen to private global entities like the World Economic Forum, United Nations, and most importantly in this case, the European Union, which Burnham is a big fan of.
Moving on to the US, the newly renovated Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool on the National Mall has garnered renewed attention after deliberate vandalism attempts to undermine President Trump's efforts to have it ready for the 4th of July celebrations. The Commander-in-Chief noted in a post on X that he personally inspected the pool, highlighting a 350-foot-long gash slashed into the pool's lining and illegal corrosive chemicals dumped in the water.
Are the contractors who did the initial work with the reflecting pool, are they to blame for the current condition, or is it the vandals that you mentioned?
Vandals. You know, we have I think 290, 300-foot slit right through it, probably a box cutter or a knife of some kind. We had people lifting up the basic, some of the, it's not a lot of damage, but we'll probably have to let the water out and refix it. They went in there with a knife. I was just told by the people over at Parks, they have 5 people are arrested and 5 people are under investigation right now. And it's a sad thing. In addition to that, we put brand new, beautiful grass all around. They put these massive letters on the grass. You probably know about that, right? And they said 8647. Somebody said fertilizer in the water. If you put fertilizer in the water, you get algae. But somebody said they might have put fertilizer. They did something to create the algae, but that doesn't matter because that's been purified. It's dead, laying at the bottom. They're taking it out. They vacuum it out. They vacuum it very carefully out, and it'll be back to health pretty soon. Barack Hussein Obama, have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
He spent 2 years and over $100 million on trying to fix it. You know what happened to it? Never even opened. I spent about 6-7 weeks, and I spent probably in terms of outside, probably $10 million. And I have a better product. Now, I can't help it if somebody goes in with a knife and starts hacking it up.
But in an effort to have the pool ready before the big day, workers treated the water with hydrogen peroxide to eliminate the algae, but is now set to be drained again to also repair the damaged lining. While majority of Americans hail the restoration of the pool as positive, the left is at it yet again. For those of you who haven't heard about the algae cheerleaders, they actually exist and are protesting next to the memorial for the algae not to be removed.
Let's go, algae, let's go! Let's go, algae, let's go! Let's go, algae, let's go! Woo! Yeah, algae! Algae! We got this, algae! We got the box, algae!
Yes, you saw right, algae cheerleaders. And no, that was not AI. But moving on to the US-Iran peace talks, Vice President J.D. Vance stated that a lot of good progress was made in their discussions and highlighted 4 accomplishments they reached for the American people.
Yesterday was a very, very good day. We made a lot of good progress. We did exactly what we wanted to do, which is accomplish 4 things for the American people. First, we wanted to build a mechanism for keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. It is open. We've seen, of course, gas prices and oil prices come down, millions and millions of barrels of crude and natural gas flowing through the Strait of Hormuz that weren't flowing before. But we also wanted to make sure that we actually set up the coordination mechanism so that we could demine the Straits of Hormuz. Number 2, we also wanted to build a mechanism, a similar mechanism, for deconfliction for the regional ceasefire. As the President of the United States has himself said, sometimes these ceasefires just mean you're shooting a little bit less, but we wanted to make sure that we had the proper coordination set up so that if there is shooting, we're actually talking to each other and figuring out how to stop the shooting, how to make the region safer, our allies and everybody else. Number 3, we, and this is probably what we're most excited about as Americans, the Iranians have agreed to invite IAEA inspectors back into their country. And that leads me to the final thing that we wanted to accomplish, which is actually set up the process for the technical negotiations that will follow. Our teams working with the Iranians, the Qataris, and the Pakistanis made great progress yesterday. They will continue to work at the technical level with the teams here in Bergenstock.
And over in Israel, speaking at a press briefing in Tel Aviv this morning, Israeli government spokesperson David Mencer reaffirmed that IDF forces will maintain full operational freedom in southern Lebanon's security zone for as long as needed to protect northern Israel from Hezbollah attacks. His statement comes amid US-mediated talks taking place in Washington today, where Israel is engaging with Lebanon to ensure Hezbollah's disarmament.
Now, just a few minutes ago, the Prime Minister has given a new directive to Israel's defense forces and our soldiers in southern Lebanon, and they are very clear, and they indeed have not changed at all. Israel's forces have full freedom of action, said the Prime Minister just a moment ago, to thwart any direct or emerging threat to them or to our residents in northern Israel, and that the Prime Minister and Israel remain steadfast in our position that we will stay in the security zone in southern Lebanon for as long as necessary in order to protect the residents of the north and all the citizens of Israel. Now, just last night, the Prime Minister said that this is what any country would do when attacked with rockets and drones. Now, when it comes to civilian casualties, the Prime Minister also made clear last night that no army goes to such lengths that the Israeli army does to target terrorists and minimize civilian casualties. Of course, every civilian and unintended casualty is a tragedy, but the Prime Minister said that the ratio is a remarkable 5-to-1. Now, Israel is engaging on US-mediated talks. They're happening over the next few days with Lebanon, directly with Lebanon. And the purpose of these talks are disarming Hezbollah and achieving a genuine peace agreement.
Follow our Love World networks for the latest breaking news.